You serious?
Hello, Marcus Bronzy here from How to Kill an Hour. We have got some great, fresh, juicy content coming for you in the next few weeks. But today's episode, this week actually, we'd like to deliver something that we've actually broadcast before. So this is a rebroadcasted episode featuring Chris Kamara. Now, Chris Kamara, he is a footballer, TV pundit, and a personality, to say the least. And he's known for being a real fun, happy guy. When Funk Butcher and I had him in the studio, we obviously had to talk about, you know, his fun sides of football, his Christmas album that he was dropping at the time, because he's a really talented singer. But we also spoke about his experience as a young black footballer, one of the first black footballers to play football, soccer in the UK. And it was a real interesting conversation from my point of view, and I presume Funk's as well, to be talking to somebody who was on this earth before we were, and what their experience was like, and how things may have changed since then, and what things haven't changed since then. This really helped to put things in perspective for me with regards to the Black Lives Matter movement and how much further we need to go for equality. But there's a story in there where he talks about a television show, and just hearing about how the establishment supported racism openly back then really helped to put things in perspective with regards to how much further we need to go to get to equality, and how the establishments around us and big media outlets need to make sure that they are leading with conversation that is not racist, to be simple. But I've said enough, because I would like the show to do the talking for us. This is episode 336, Unbelievable Jeff, featuring Kammy, Chris Kamara. Hope you enjoy. Very nice to welcome Kammy on the show.
Hey,
How you doing, mate?
Couldn't be any better.
Yeah? You're looking well?
For an old man, yes.
Well, let's just talk about what we're going to talk about today. It's inevitable that we're going to talk about football, because I believe that's quite a bit of your life, isn't it?
Just a bit.
But we're also here to talk about the Christmas album as well.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, I listened to one of the tracks that you've released on Spotify on the way over, and Chris, you can actually sing, mate.
Well, I don't think the record company would have spent all that money if I couldn't sing. Even though the 22-piece big band sound fantastic, you do need somebody to front it.
Yeah. What was it like being in a studio with that band? Because there's a video that's going around on the internet as well, showing some behind the scenes you recording the album. And
Awesome it was, yeah. I was in awe when I first met them all. It was at Angel Studios in Islington. And there's 22 of them there, and they play the Royal Albert Hall, the Prague Philharmonic, and all of a sudden this ex-footballer's turning up and standing in front of them. So I thought they'd think, you know, this is how low down we've come now. Yeah. But they were great. They were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any, because monitors and all that is new to me, in-ears. So I didn't have any in-ears in. So the conductor kept waving his stick towards me, but I didn't know when to go in, because the music was so loud. It was so good, and I was just enjoying it. And he said, "You need to watch me, and I'll cue you in for when you need to sing."
So he's trying to conduct you with his hands, and you're just going, "Yeah, this is
it sounds great."
Oh, it's my turn. Yeah. But this isn't your first foray into singing. I think you kind of let us know about your voice a little while back in terms of how you can sing, though, right?
Well, I've always liked to sing a little bit, and you know, there's singing and there's singing. There's singing with a 22-piece big man, and having a proper record company produce it, and there's normal singing like I do in my bar in Tenerife after adding 10 or 12 pints. Oh no, I wish I could anymore. My belly won't hold it.
Yeah. The audience, they're a bit more forgiving, yeah?
Yeah. They've also had 10 or 12 pints.
Yeah. Sounds amazing. You listen back the next day and it's like some old crow. Where was that come from?
On a scale of 1 to 10 though, in terms of like stage fright, you were in front of like a 22-piece band. How is that compared to like playing in front of thousands of people when you was playing football, or even being on TV? How was the nerves?
It was nervous. I never get nervous. You know, since going into TV, all this has been a bonus for me. So going into TV, working for Sky, working on Ninja Warrior for ITV, doing all the doing all the shows, catchphrase, tipping point, acting on Emmerdale, not a problem. But standing in front of those 22 and thinking, oh God, please, hopefully they like the sound of my voice, because if they don't, I'm sure they're all going to get up and walk out and say, you've wasted our time here. Yeah. So it really was. It was a bit, the heart was pumping and to be honest, I got a kick out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't had that for a while, because you take things for granted when you can naturally do them. So when you're nervous, it's all like it's a feeling that you've not had for a while. It's like when you get upset about something and you can't stop yourself getting upset because it affects you really badly. Whereas the nerves thing, maybe that was probably the little shot up the arm that I needed to stand in front of them and make sure I could perform.
Was it like being on trial at a club? Like you got to impress the manager? Or
I thought you meant like in court. Took a left.
So I waited till the break and we had a cup of tea, and then went round to them, and 50% of the band, there was men and women. I would say there was 15, 16 men, and the rest were women in the band, and thinking that they were upper class and that they'd all talk with a silver spoon in their mouth. They were exactly the same as us. They were just proper people who were great. Most of them were football fans.
Wicked.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so we ended up chatting in the break, and they were saying, oh, it sounds great. And I'm going, are you sure you can hear me? And they were going, no, it really sounds great, and we're so pleased that we've got you on board, and hopefully we've booked the Royal Albert Hall for November 2020.
Wow.
To do the Christmas songs there. But that all depends on how well the album does this Christmas.
Well, I was going to talk about the theme of the album, but you kind of just gave it away there. So it's a festive album, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's all the classics. Let It Snow, Santa Baby. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Frosty the Snowman, all those types of Rudolph.
Yes.
Yeah, all those types of songs, and one brand new song called Here's to Christmas.
Here's to the season, happy holiday.
And that is penned by yourself, right?
No, I wish. I wish. It's a fella called Richard Scott who works with sort of like he's done stuff for Michael Bublé, but normally does writing for Robbie Williams. So,
right, okay.
So he's penned this Christmas song, because I thought the 9 covers, everybody knows them, but not probably heard them with the swing band. So that's fine, that takes care of itself.
Yeah.
What would the standalone song, what would it be like? Will it fit in with all the others? And it is such a catchy, wonderful tune. It's brilliant.
Wicked. And how would you describe your sound to those who haven't heard you singing, who haven't seen a preview?
It's hard to describe yourself. The only thing I could say,
it's Kammy.
Yeah, it's Kammy, but a lot of people saying sounds a bit Bublé-ish, or and other people are saying this. I have to say, not me. Or Frank Sinatra-ish,
Hey.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like when you go over to the park and say, who'd you play like? I'm a bit like Zidane.
True, yeah. I've gone right to the top. Yeah.
Oh, man. So, Christmas album and the release date?
It's on the 15th of November.
Perfect timing for Christmas.
Yeah, which is great. And you can download it on all these Spotify, iTunes, Amazon.
Did you say Spotify?
Spotify. There you go.
It's a new one.
Cammyson. That's it. That's the one.
So we're hopeful.
Yeah.
We're hopeful. But, a lot of competition at Christmas.
Yeah, man.
George Michael, God rest his soul, is bringing out some unrecorded songs. So that's competition. Robbie Williams has done a lot of covers with other people. I heard one the other day. It was a Slade track, and I'm not sure that's the type of song that you should cover, because that's a Christmas classic.
I believe that some things should be untouched.
Yeah. And of course, there's the Christmas high priestess, Mariah Carey. She's always lurking around Christmas.
She's never going away, mate. She's never going. Every Christmas
she's never had a number one in the UK.
Really?
So that's why she's doing her best to change that.
Really?
Okay.
But every year at Christmas time, she must drop back into the charts. Like that song must drop in every single year.
Yeah. Well, they all earn a fortune, don't they? Noddy Older says it's his pension every year.
There you go.
Christmas. So.
Good shout, Kammy. Joining the Christmas gang then, getting that Christmas
hopefully
change
here's
in.
the Christmas every year.
Yeah.
I did MTV yesterday, and they put it on the Christmas playlist already, and that'll be forever and a day. So, Let It Snow is on there. Not Here's to Christmas, but Let It Snow. I'm working on Here's to Christmas to get it on there.
And you've had some spins on radio as well. I think Moyles dropped a track, didn't he, recently?
Yeah, first one to play the track on the 5th of November, was it? Wednesday. Sorry, the 6th of November.
Yeah.
Moylesy, they don't play Christmas songs on Radio X. But he's me mate, Moylesy. And so I said, look, you can have first dibs at this. And he said, well, let's have a listen first. And he went, wow, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. He went, yeah, I'll play it.
Yeah.
And he gave it the biggest plug ever. It was
Wicked.
brilliant.
That's what you want then. That's what you want. So with regards to singing, have you always been someone who's been singing in the changing rooms and you're just playing footy at home?
It's hard to sing in the changing room because the lads batter you. Absolutely batter you. You know what it's like? Oh.
Yeah.
So the banter going around would just destroy you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I did sing in front of my teammates. I signed for Leeds in January 1990 on the Monday. And it was the first week in January. And on the Tuesday, Howard Wilkinson said, you'll train with the boys for the first time on Tuesday morning. Mm-hmm. And then Tuesday afternoon, we'll fly to Dublin. We've got a friendly against Shelbourne in Dublin. And then on the Wednesday, fly back Thursday. And then a bit of training Friday and a match on Saturday. Great, no worries. So we flew to Dublin. He took us to this restaurant. So there was a pianist in the restaurant. So halfway through dinner, I went to the loo, came back from the loo. I said to the pianist, can you play your song, Elton John? And he said, yeah, can you sing it? I said, well, that's debatable, but, you know, yeah, I'll give it a go. And he played your song, and I stood up in front of my teammates who I hadn't really met, Vinnie Jones, Mervyn Dame, Mel Sterland, Chrissy Fairclough, Lee Chapman, Gordon Strachan, as I said, Rod Wallace, all those players, and sang your song and got a big round of applause. And Gordon Strachan stood up and said, that's our shy new shine in there.
Yes. Great.
So that's the only time I remember singing in front of the lads.
I mean, that definitely must have taken some balls singing in front of Vinnie Jones trying to melt that heart. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Vinny wanted to get up, but the geezer didn't play. He didn't play Madness and stuff like that. Baggy trousers.
If you had to construct like a barbershop quartet made up of players, who would you have in your little crew?
Well, Lionel Messi's always got to get into anyone. Can you sing, Lionel? That is a question.
I'd love it if you had a proper bassy singing voice.
Pavarotti.
Yeah.
Who would I have? Obviously, Jeff Stelling, who is my big pal. It'd be lovely to get him on board. So, Soccer Saturday lads are my new team. You know, when you strike friendships throughout the years in all the teams that I've played for, and I had 9 clubs, 12 moves, 9 clubs. I signed for Portsmouth on 2 separate occasions, signed for Sheffield United on 2 separate occasions, and signed for Swindon on 2 separate occasions. I'll be honest with you, all those clubs signed me again because they couldn't believe how bad I was the first time. So you strike up a great friendship with teammates, but then when you finish playing, it's gone. You know what I mean? You hardly keep in touch with anybody. So the new teammates to the Soccer Saturday mob. So it'd be nice to have Tomo, Charlie Nicholas and Merce, and Jeff has been back in band.
So what do you love about Christmas the most then? Because this is going to be a thing that you're going to have to talk about loads. Christmas is now going to be associated with Kammy now, if all goes to plan.
I've hated Christmas for a long, long time. Not for the reasons that people might think. I've hated Christmas because I was born on Christmas Day.
Really? Wow.
So from the age I can remember, we didn't have a lot of money in our household. So to get 1 present on Christmas Day was a bonus, never mind 2 for my birthday. So it was pretty much overlooked as I was growing up. And then when I became a professional footballer at 16, we always played on Boxing Day. So I never ever had a drink on Christmas Day. And then obviously you play on the 28th and then you play New Year's Day. So you got to look after yourself. So I did that. I played for 22 years. So it wasn't until I was 39 that I actually had a good drink on my birthday. So
because you can have a rest.
I was pretty much a miserable, apart from obviously when my 2 young kids were born, then it's a different type of Christmas with them. So that's how much Christmas meant to me then. But it's strange now. I've made up for it, by the way. So don't feel too sorry for me. Yeah, so Christmas now means family. We've got grandkids. We've got my oldest son's got a wife, so her family come round as well on Christmas Day. So there'll be about 16 or 17 of us on Christmas Day.
Nice.
And it would be nice to celebrate Christmas number one.
No, oh yeah, that'd be a big one. Who's getting busy in the kitchen though before you celebrate this Christmas number one?
Yeah.
Well, my 2 sons love cooking.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's a great cook. So
Brussels sprouts man? Are you a Brussels sprouts man?
nah. Well, I like them, no, but I won't cook them.
Do you like Brussels
No, I
sprouts?
can't stand them.
It's, it's a real Marmite thing, isn't it? Because I think they taste like and smell like farts.
They're definitely they're like Marmite, isn't it? If you like it, you don't. Yeah, it's one of those ones. Yeah.
But my mum will like cook hundreds of them and be like, oh yeah, more for me, love them. So you love them then?
Yeah, I love them, but you never eat them any other time apart from Christmas Day, do you?
Yeah, well,
They only come out for Christmas Day.
Yeah.
That's all right. Then you can man the bottle of brandy then at Christmas time.
I'm the
You can
drinks
look
man.
after- There you go.
I'm the drinks man. I provide everybody who comes into our house because we have open house we finish up lunch about 2 and then about 6 o'clock everybody comes round, evening, friends as well as family, and we have a bit of a shindig now. So
Nice. You shake a leg as well as singing?
oh yes,
Oh yeah, man.
old man style.
Yeah, oh yeah, proper dad dancing, yeah?
Proper dad dancing,
Yeah, you got to
yeah.
bring that out. So this show's called How to Kill an Hour, Kammy. So we like to ask each of our guests how they like to kill time. Now, you're a busy man at the moment, but how do you like to kill time when you get that little bit of downtime?
I live on a farm, so
Okay.
I have animals that I can look after. I spend loads of time with the horses, a little bit of time with the sheep, a little bit of time with the chickens. We've got a cat as well, so yeah, that's my release. My wife knows if I go missing for an hour or 2, she can find me down at the stables.
Oh, wicked. Do you ride the horses?
We used to once upon a time, but I've lost my bottle now. All the horses are pets.
Yeah, fair enough.
Can we expect like a old MacDonald kind of themed
Yeah, that's
album?
what it is.
Like, I can see it.
A kid's Christmas album.
Kids' Christmas album.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
One. Yeah. So you,
CBBS, are you listening?
there we go. Hey, why not? In the night garden. Yeah, cool. So you don't ride the horses. Do you eat the sheep, or do you just look at them?
No, don't be daft. I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
Or pescatarian, I should say. But
Okay.
my wife hates me saying that.
Okay.
Because she still eats meat. But she doesn't eat meat at home anymore.
Okay.
But if we go out to a restaurant, she'll have a burger or a steak or some chicken or whatever.
Fair enough.
But she doesn't eat meat at home. And I'm not stopping her.
Yeah.
It's, sheep have got character. And that's what turned me off eating meat. That sheep you can actually call them and they'll eat out of your hand. And anything that's got that type of character, and I know pigs have, I'm not so sure about cows, but they must have. So I thought, right, that's it.
Really?
But talk to me, Kammy, because I've been trying for so long, and it's hard to break that relationship with that juicy burger. So how long have you been is it pescatarian for?
Yeah, 2 and a bit years.
Okay.
Yeah,
Relatively-
not long, but I don't miss it.
Okay.
It actually opens your palate because there's stuff that you open a menu, don't you, in a restaurant?
Yeah,
Your eyes go straight to the steak, burger, or the fish and chips.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now I look at the menu and see what they've got vegetarian and try the dishes, and some of them are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love Indian food. I could eat Indian food breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So vegetable biryani, vindaloo hot.
Oh yeah.
Now
Although
we're talking.
I've had to stop having vindaloo hot. My voice coach says it burns your esophagus. So while I'm singing, I've got to stop that. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're listening, Cammy's rider no more vindaloo, please.
No. Yeah.
What about eggs out of the chicken? I'm just going to go through all the animals. What about chickens? You have a few eggs off them then? That's all right. Then.
Yeah, we can eat the chickens, yeah. Right. My son's vegan, actually, but
oh, wow.
The one thing that he will eat is his own chickens.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Not his own chickens. I was like, technically, that's not...
He'd kill me if I said that.
You imagine, I'm a vegan, but I eat my own chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And the cats, there's nothing you can really do with those. Just pet them. You can't eat those or milk those or have their whatever.
We've got a talking cat, Izzy.
Wait,
her name is. Yeah. She tells you what she wants, when she wants to go out, when she wants something to eat. She has a different...
sounds like a Disney character.
What meow was that then? What was that one?
That meow was the hungry meow.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And what's the let me out meow then?
Let me out is constant meow 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 meow. It's like let you know.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. It is so good.
Cats are clever though. I always look at a cat in the eyes and I think there's a lot going on behind those eyes. Yeah, they're very wise. They're very wise.
It's the way they play with mice. Like I said, we live on a farm, so she'll often bring them in. And she's carrying them sort of like 100 yards, and they'll come in, and there's no harm to them whatsoever until she decides that, to bring
pest control
to bring down the chop.
So your cats are vegan, but it only eats its own mice. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now I saw you getting quite emotional about something that happened in football the other day. I'm going to say 3 letters to you, Kammy. VAR.
Mm-hmm.
It's causing a bit of it's causing a lot of conversation across barbershops, football stadiums across the land, and you were quite upset with the VAR decision the other day.
I was.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate it?
Sizzling.
I don't hate it. I just think it's been run wrongly.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what's going on there? Like, do you want to talk us through that? Because that was interesting.
The initial thing when I went to Stockley Park in the summer. Because they treated all the pundits and commentators to a preview of how it was going to be. And the demonstration that it put on was perfect. It was really, really good. But you knew straight away that it was going to be carnage once they started. Because they're using VAR in a different way that they're using it in Europe. In Europe, the referee goes over to the monitor, he has a look, and then they make the decision. We saw it in the Euros. It does waste a little bit more time, but at least then the referee knows what the score is. And they're explaining to him along the way on what they're going to do, why they've made that decision. Our lot have not helped the referees when they needed to be helped. When they didn't need any help, they've interfered. So they've made it virtually impossible. And the decision I got upset about was because the line on when it was Firmino was given offside against Aston Villa, the line from the VAR was not straight. It was not straight. So somebody doctored it to make him offside. Just because they'd made the decision to disallow the goal, they had to justify it by making the line out of line. So that's why I got upset because the one thing that I got told off about was there's no such thing as, well, he's only just offside. He's either offside or he's onside. Okay, so that's fine. If that's the way you want to play it, well, Firmino was onside, but you made him offside. That was my opinion.
I think it's almost as controversial as Sterling's one at the beginning of the season with his armpit or something like that. Is it that game?
Well, that was the one that was called as the armpit, So it's just been, the way they've implemented it has been so poor. They had the bar really low, now the bar's so high, they don't know what they're doing. They really haven't got a clue. They need to scrap it, I think, take it away from this season, and then start again next.
And how do we make sure we do it right? How do we do it right next season then?
Well, I think they do it right. I think they need a football person with them. The referees know the laws of the game. quite a lot of them don't know the game itself because they've not played the game, or they've played it at an amateur level and they're not quite sure about certain situations. So let's implement somebody in there with them. There's loads of ex-footballers who'd love to go and help them. Just run it by them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that they have to take their opinion, but run a decision by them. How would you go with that decision? Would you go for it or against it? And he'd probably give his opinion. Yeah, for it. No, don't go for it. Then it gives them something to think about. But at the moment, you've got referees refereeing referees.
Yeah.
And they're frightened to go against their immediate decision.
Yeah. If you're going to use a machine to do something like that, I think it has to be right 100% of the time.
Without a doubt.
Because referees, I understand they're humans. Sometimes their line of sight might be obstructed. Things happen. And you know what? There's times when decisions have gone my way. Yeah. There's times when decisions have gone my opposition team's way. Cool. But if they do it with tech, I feel like there needs to be no room for mistakes.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Yeah. I mean, are we getting to a stage now? Do you feel like, I mean, this is a tech podcast, but do you feel that tech is actually spoiling football? Too much technology in it? Is it taking the human error aspect out of the game, which is
not necessarily? Not if it's done right. If it's done right, then there shouldn't be too much of a problem. The problem that we've got is not done right, and I also feel for the referees. I understand, you know, when you say something, it affects on referees, but I have to say we're all accountable for what we do, for what we do, for what we say, for how we act, especially when the media is the cast is on you. You have to be 100% right or committed to whatever you do. And referees, I do understand they are under pressure. And you wouldn't, if I see a referee today and he's in a cafe or in a bar, I'll go and have a drink with him. I'll go and have a sit down and have a chat with him. But when you're dealing with professional sport, you have to give your opinion. You have to be correct on that. And sometimes, you know, people do go over the top. There's no doubt about that. People do go over the top. They've got to remember that these people, even though they're making mistakes, are hopefully not doing it deliberately. And that's why I was so upset about the Firmino thing, because I thought that was deliberate.
How about the situation or scenario would it be if we had a completely digitized referee where everything is either black or white? So you actually don't have any human element in the decision making on the pitch. Is that too far?
Yeah, that's impossible. Virtual reality in football, no, I'm afraid that'll never happen. You can do your computer games on that, but not in live football.
And that computer game ref is sometimes an arsehole as well. That was not a red card the other day on FIFA. Yeah. I swear sometimes they got infamy.
Yeah.
I mean, you made an important point actually about people being responsible for their actions, and there's been racism in football has been something that's been a conversation that's been had over the years, and I think it's kind of not coming to a head now, but it's been something that's been higher profile this season. As a young black footballer who kind of, you know, you're playing across the 80s and the 90s, how is it kind of watching how things have changed recently? I mean, is there a marked improvement as compared to how things were for you back in the day and now?
Oh yes, it was a nightmare when I was growing up. An absolute nightmare. I was the second black player to play for Portsmouth, the first black player to play for Brentford, and the first black player to play for Swindon. So you can imagine growing up, I made my debut, it's going to sound awful, isn't it, in 74-75 season when I was 16-year-old. So back then, I played for Portsmouth, who had a national front element in the crowd, not a massive national front element, but there was about 200 or 300 and make themselves known. So not only would they boo me off when I was crap, they'd boo me onto the pitch in the first place. You know, so that was for something that throughout the years that I've accepted. You know, you've accepted that. Yeah, that was just then, and this is now. All of a sudden, I'm starting to think, why did I accept all that? You know, why was there nobody around? Why was there no teammates around? Why was there no managers around? And that is the biggest thing why myself, John Barnes, Viv Anderson, Luther Blissett, Howard Gale, who used to play for Liverpool, and black players from that ilk, Brendan Batson, do not want players walking off the pitch at this moment in time. No way. We fought so hard and worked so hard through all that strife for people to say they need to walk off the pitch. No, they don't. They need to stay on the pitch and defy the racists in the same way England did in Bulgaria. If England had gone off that pitch, then copycat after copycat after copycat would follow England around, because people would think, we can get these games cancelled, we can get ourselves heard. All these Nazis would be heard all over the place. Yeah, we got that game stopped. In Italy, it's an absolute shocker. Balotelli, the other day, was about to walk off the pitch and his teammates convinced him to stay on. He stayed on the pitch and he scored. That was the win. They lost out. Get them out the stadium and keep the players on the pitch. That has got to be the motto.
Just to put it into perspective for a lot of the younger listeners, what was the support network for when you... There's a support network.
Yeah. Honestly, there was programs on the telly called Alf Garnett and Love Thy Neighbour.
Yeah, okay.
The N word was used constantly.
Complained against the nignog. Equal rights does not entitle nignogs to move next door. Get that nignog off that machine.
And why should I?
Because I said so.
Eddie, look,
You keep your black nose out of this, Sambo.
calm down, dude, calm down.
Well, while you've been doing your duty, we've got rib worked.
Pardon?
Spread from next door.
What, them nignogs? I knew it. They never wash, you know.
Do what?
It's with them being black. They probably don't bother, you see. They can't tell whether they're dirty or not.
And it was just taking the mickey out of black people the whole time. And I would go into the dressing room at Portsmouth the following day after they'd been on that night before, and the lads would be talking about it and how funny it was, and then I'd walk in, it'd go quiet for a second, and then someone would say, "Oh, you don't mind, oh, do you, Kammy?" And you go, no, I can't mind.
Yeah.
Because I am one voice,
of course,
and they would have kicked me out that dressing room straight away and said, you got a chip on your shoulder, this, that, and the other. So you had to go with the flow, and that's why I'm saying to you, when I look back now, it's been a sort of acceptance that you had to take reluctantly, but I wouldn't change a thing really. I just think that was then. This is now. Let's get on with it, and let's make sure that we keep these football players on the pitch, and we don't let people stop football matches for the sake of racism.
So what you're saying is, in your point of view, it's not John Barnes and the likes of yourself saying just stay on the pitch and pretend it's not happening. You're saying stay on and defy and take the power back off the people that are trying to get you off the pitch. Without
a doubt. Let's get the people. The first game to be abandoned was Harrogate Borough versus Yeovil just a few weeks back. Mm-hmm. The Yeovil town manager was disappointed with his own supporters. The Harrogate Borough manager came on 5 Live and he said 99.9% of those Yeovil town fans were fantastic. 0.1% caused that game to be abandoned. So why not go over to them supporters, get the police and say, let's get these 2 people out. They made 2 arrests the following week. So it was 2 people that caused Harrogate Borough to walk off the pitch. That can't be right. That can't be right. The 2 people can stop a football match by shouting racism chants. If you hear it and you're a white person and it disgusts you, then get these people out the ground. Mm-hmm. Get them out the ground. Identify them to the police straight away and get them kicked out the ground. When it's a lot more like it was in the Bulgaria game, they left at half-time. They had to leave at half-time, otherwise they would have all been arrested. And they left. And England didn't win. The reason why England didn't win, in terms, obviously they won the football match, but 50% of the people were still saying that, having followed protocol, they should have walked off the pitch. They had the 2 warnings, and then the 3rd time it happens, you've got to walk off. They didn't walk off. They stayed on the pitch. So England couldn't win. Whatever way you looked at it, if they walked off the pitch, everyone says, yeah, they did the right thing. If they stay on the pitch, yeah, they did the right thing because the racists went out the ground, but I still feel that they should have walked off to make that stand. No, they did everything right, in my opinion. And UEFA and FIFA should have came down so hard on Bulgaria, but they didn't. Why didn't they? Because they're a football association. They need Bulgaria. They need Bulgaria as a country. They need England as a country. So they need Spain as a country. They need Italy as a country, because that's their football competition. So you've got to take that power away from them in terms of sanctions and give it to somebody else. Give it to governments to say, right, here we are. We had that situation at the football match in Bulgaria. Now the sanctions are kick them out of the competition. Kick them out of the competition, and then they won't be so quick to do it again.
Do you think another opinion that's come up is docking points as well over here? Do you think is that a potential solution as well?
No, it is once again, all right? So we say docking points, right? So Manchester City are 3 points clear with one game to go, right? They're 1-0 up in their final game, so somebody decides to abuse Raheem Sterling and get the game stopped, right? Completely get the game stopped. One of the opposing teams wins their game to win the title. What do we do? Do we replay that game, the Manchester City game? You know, they were 1-0 down when the game was abandoned, or are we called that as a result? I don't get how you're going to be able to work things like that out.
Yes, messy.
They played the Haringey Borough game again. Yeovil, who were 1-0 up at the time when they came off the pitch, ended up winning the game 3-0. Was there any ripples? Did people actually know that game was played again? I've spoken to loads of people and they go, oh, did they? What was the score? I say, well, Yeovil won 3-0. Nothing came of it. So they walked off the pitch. They got another game. I don't know whether the fans were allowed in for free or no, whatever, but nothing was gained by them coming off the pitch.
Fair enough. All right,
that was a bit deep.
We went deep, right? Let's bring it back. No, but thank you. No, it's Funk and I have to appreciate. I'm sorry for speaking on your behalf.
Yeah,
talking to somebody who's been there when we weren't there. Do you know what I mean? It's easy for us to have an opinion now, but we don't know what the lay of the land was for the last 20 years with footballing racism. And it's interesting to talk to people like you, because the steps that you make have affected what football is for us today. And inside and outside of football, how people treat us as black people. So thank you for that.
I think it's definitely, from my perspective, I think we owe a thank you to you guys, because you guys were trailblazers and you actually put your necks out there. And I guess what's kind of is frustrating, the different voices and the different takes on social media, is that they can't actually understand how isolating it must have been for you at that point in time. Because I guess what they're looking at it is that the circumstances were the same as it is now, but there were just less black football players there, but you had all the support and the different networks and the different means to kind of deal with the abuse, but it wasn't anywhere near that kind of...
No,
but they didn't even have Twitter. Like on Twitter, somebody can say, you know what, great decision, mate, or someone can say terrible decision. You didn't have that, did you?
No, nothing at all.
That's it.
I became a manager in 95, 96 season, and I would walk into boardrooms then, and I knew immediately, you get a sixth sense, who was comfortable with me being in there and who wasn't.
Yeah.
It's, it's a sense that only black people can
100%. 100%.
And you know.
It's like spider sense.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
So this is 95, 96, and I'm the manager of Bradford City Football Club, and I know that people are not comfortable with me being in boardrooms, and so it has come a long way, in terms of the respect and the responsibility that the likes of Raheem Sterling, Jesse Lingard, and all those boys give us now. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They will only ever suffer now through crowd abuse. They won't get that in real life at all, wherever they go, wherever they do. So football has become a conveyor belt for racists because they can't be heard in society. So whatever goes on in Brixton or anywhere, any parts of the country, people getting racially abused, it doesn't make the headlines. It makes the headlines when it's a football match. So we have to stop that happening.
Right.
Interesting, yeah.
I hear that. Right. So from there, Kammy, I want to take us over to, from football Kammy, I want to go to Action Man, superhero Kammy. Do you know what? I love I love the story about when you're in Brazil, because there's a photo that still does the rounds on social media of Kammy standing there.
I was an idiot.
Looking like a superhero at the end of a chase scene. And there's a, Vigilante Kammy. That's it. That's a good film, isn't it?
I was an idiot. I could have been killed. I didn't realise.
It must have just been instinct, though.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. Sort of thing that happens.
Yeah. It was. So me and my brother-in-law, what happened is England got knocked out of the competition against Costa Rica. Before the Costa Rica game. So we played Costa Rica. It was a dead rubber game, 0-0. So all the England party, which had a hotel on Copacabana Beach, easy for me to say, and they had the top floor suites and everything. So they tried to give them back to the hotel, and anyway, the hotel, because you paid all the way through to the final.
Yeah.
So the FA said, "Are you staying out?" Because I was doing a bit of work for them. I said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, you can have 2 suites at the top of this hotel."
Nice.
So I shouted to my brother-in-law, "Do you want to come?" And he went, "Yeah."
Told him that you paid for it.
So he had this 3-bedroom suite overlooking Copacabana, and I had one as well. So anyway, Gordon Strachan rang me. He was commentating for ITV, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to coach some kids on Ipanema Beach, which is about a mile from where I was, but it's just a walk along the beach." And so he said, "Will you come and give me a hand at 11 o'clock?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Adrian Charles is going to come along as well, and he'll probably collect the balls for us and stuff like that." I said, "Oh, I've got a ball boy as well. My brother-in-law will come down." So he says, "Right." So I said to my brother-in-law, "Meet me downstairs at 11:15. So we walk along Copacabana, and then we walk in down Ipanema Beach. Now, unbeknown to me, because I didn't know this until the police told me afterwards, 2 locals walked past us and asked us the time. And the reason why they asked you the time is we want to find out where you come from.
Okay.
Because it's such a cosmopolitan place.
Yeah.
If you speak Portuguese, obviously you're one of them. So that's fine. Anyway, we told them it was 11:15. That was the key then, that they were going to do something. Now, I have to say, my brother-in-law was walking along with Mungmi on his back, right? Because he had his shirt off and he had a massive gold chain around his neck, right? So basically he was asking for it. Yeah. So these 2 fellas, one of them ran in between the 2 of us, the middle of the 2 of us, hooked his finger around the gold chain and ran straight across a dual carriageway. So there was 2 cars going one way, 2 lanes, going one way, and 2 lanes going the other. And he crossed straight away. And instinct told me to run back the way.
Okay.
So now we are both running. We're level, but there's 4 lanes of traffic and there's cars coming by between us. He can see me and I can see him, and I'm pointing at him. I'm going to get him.
You're going to get him.
I mean, you're using your index finger there. I think that's not the finger you're using to point him.
So he's running. So
and you're screaming at him, but you can't understand you.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I wasn't even talking. I was just thinking, I know I'll get him.
Yeah, man.
So the reason the police said why I'm still alive today is the break in the road came when the traffic stopped on my side.
Okay.
And I was able to go to the middle reservation, which forced him up a side street. So it forced him up a side street. They said his accomplice would have been waiting further down, and he'd either shot me or stabbed me because I was chasing his mate. But because I forced him up a road, his mate wasn't there. So I'm behind him. Every time he looks around now, I'm catching him. Every time he looks around slow, I'm powering up towards him. And then I got about 10 yards away from a hotel, and every single hotel had a security guard outside. And I'm shouting to this security guard, "Stop thief, stop thief." I don't know whether he expected it or not. Anyway, he stood in front of the lad who'd robbed my brother-in-law, the mugger. And as he stood in front of him, I came in and jumped on his back, and he went, "What is it? What is it?" And he spoke reasonable English, the security guard. I said, "He stole my brother's chain." So he got him down, put his arm behind his back, right, and held him on the floor. Within a minute, the police were there. They were on every corner of the World Cup. And the policeman comes in and he says to him, takes off, says to the security guard, move away. And he's starting to put the handcuffs on him. So the security fella from the hotel asks the mugger where the chain is. Anyway, gives him a load of crap in Portuguese. So this is the nasty bit about it all. So the security guard kicked him in the face with his boot twice. And then he told him where the chain was. So he went into his pocket, got the chain, and they stood him up. So then the policeman got his vest and put the vest over his head. And I said, what are you doing that for? He said, for two reasons. One, because it'll disorientate him, so he can't run off, so he doesn't know where he's going, because obviously we're going to leave him stood up there. And two, because you saw what happened there, and there's blood, and we don't want people coming along and taking photographs of him. With the, so, whoops.
That's all right, no, we're all good. We're still plugged in, don't worry.
We're still plugged in. So, my brother-in-law gets there. Where is he? Let me out.
He's got there, the party's finished.
I said, it's sorted, Mike, it's sorted. So the policeman goes, so we said, well, look, we've got the chain back, we've got to go. And they said, no, you've got to come to the police station and make a statement. We don't catch these fellas very often. They get away with doing this all the time. So you've got to come to the station. Oh, no, I've got to do some coaching in 5 minutes. No, I'm sorry. So we got to the police station. We were in there for a couple of hours. So on the way to the police station, the policeman who handcuffed him said, when I was handcuffing him there, did you see him fall and hit his face on the ground? So my brother-in-law goes,
oh my gosh.
No, Chris just told me that the police officer, the security guard, kicked him in the head. So I've elbowed Mike in the ribs. So he goes, oh yeah, I did see him hit his head on the ground. Yeah. So we went to the police station, made the statement, we came out, and the British Embassy were there, and they said, could you please say that it was a stupid and foolish thing to do, because if any other England fans or holiday makers try to do that and get killed, it's not the right way to do it. So I had to come out and say, I acted on instinct. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it, and hopefully I was crapping myself that anybody did exactly the same and got hurt. Because I would have felt responsibility.
Doesn't stop you looking like a badass in that picture, though.
My only thought, when I phoned my wife, my only thought was they picked on the wrong people that day.
Yeah.
And
that sounds like a tagline for a film.
Yeah.
They picked on the wrong people.
Good idea. They picked on the wrong people, but then you start to think, well, what's their home life like? Who was depending on
100%,
on the young lad who actually did that?
Yeah.
Did he have a mum back at home or whatever? And my wife said, oh, you can't think like that. What if they'd have killed you? They wouldn't be feeling sorry today.
That's true. Point. Yeah, fair enough. Right, Kammy, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, we always play a game with our guests. It's always like a true or false game. We try and rhyme it with their name. So what we've done is we've got some. You know what? I found a theme tune that some of our younger listeners might not know, but you might recognise, a sporty theme tune, and we're going to play a game of Cam or Spam. All right?
Okay.
Is that all right with you?
Of course it is.
The grandstand theme. So in this game of Cam or Spam, we're going to read out some, because Kammy, you've made some great commentary mistakes over the years.
I have indeed.
And one of the best things is that you don't mind talking about them. In fact, I think people look forward to stuff that happens. So we've got a few phrases that we'll tell you about, and I'll read them out, and you have to let us know whether you think they are Cam, whether you've actually said them, or whether they're spam.
Right.
All right, cool. Are you ready for your first phrase?
Go for it.
Funk, so here's the first phrase. There's a pigeon on the pitch, Jeff. Is that Cam or spam?
Cam.
That's Cam. That's something that you've actually said. Well, I'd like to let you know. That is Cam.
There's a pigeon on the pitch, Jeff. Walter is on there and he won't get off, and so the game has been abandoned.
That was a West Ham.
I remember
that.
That was it.
Fly off, won't it?
that was West Ham versus Norwich at Upton Park. So what happened there? Pigeon landed on the pitch, and what? Nobody wanted to clear it off then?
No, and they ended up chasing it round rather than just leaving it. And yeah. So
all right, fair enough. All right, for the next round of Camel Spam, fighting like beavers. Is that a Cam or a spam? He's good at this. It's a Cam, yeah.
Their football arsenal is on another level, but Spurs are fighting like beavers, defending for their lives.
I know, them ferocious animals.
World's deadliest creatures.
Fighting like beavers. I mean, how do beavers fight? Have you seen any beavers since?
Not the ones in the water.
No, but you did make. You did make a comeback, though. You did make a comeback, and you did describe it.
The game as a spectacle is magnificent. Spurs working like beavers.
Beavers work hard.
I mean, if there's any, it's sensational.
If there's anything better than fighting like a beaver, that was a Cam. I mean, working beavers is also a thing as well, I guess. All right. So the final clip we've got for Camel Spam. There's a goal. But it's not a goal, but it is a goal because the referee's giving it as a goal. Is that a Cam or a spam?
That's Cam.
Yeah.
That's Watford versus Reading.
That's the one.
Jeff, unbelievable. There's a goal, but it's not a goal, but it's a goal because the referee's giving it as a goal.
That was ridiculous. Stuart Atwell, who actually refereed in the Premier League, was the referee that day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
The ball didn't go anywhere near the goal.
No?
Ridiculous, honestly. Look it up on YouTube and you'll see it. Google it. Watford versus Reading, ghost goal. Yeah. And anyway, at half time, I went down because I had it on the monitor, video replay. So I went down at half time as the players were walking off the pitch to tell the referee that it didn't go anywhere near the goal. And the Reading assistant manager, Steve Coppell, was the manager. But the assistant manager, who I won't name his name, as I'm telling the referee it didn't go anywhere near the goal, he went, "What the bleeping hell has it got to do with you?" I thought, yeah, good.
Fair enough. Oh, man. Yeah. All right, well, thank you very much for playing Camel Spam. You got them all right, mate. There we go.
I've got the worst memory in the world. But
oh, man. Now, you know what, though? It's not an easy job, though, is it? You're there and you've got a lot to take in when you're watching a game. So fair enough.
Yeah, well, it's difficult when you have to turn away from the game with your headphones and
you miss
look
stuff
at the camera.
Yeah, because then you miss stuff. But yeah, no, thank you very much for coming on the show,
Thanks for having me.
The Christmas album.
Thank you.
Yep, it's
out on the 15th of November. Here's to Christmas. Let's get it to number one. Fake news yesterday I had that Ladbrokes were offering 100 to 1, saying that we wouldn't make a ripple. Absolute total nonsense. The only price they would give my son was 10 to 1 and then closed his account down after he had 2 bets at 10 to 1. Fake news.
Cheers, Kammy, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you.
So that was the interview with Kammy, myself, Funk Butcher, here at How to Kill an Hour. It was a great episode. I hope you really like it. Coming up next week, we're going to continue the festive spirit with some more ways to kill time. Hopefully Funk's wrist will be back in order after his injury playing with balls. But joining us on next week's show is going to be K Kurd. It's going to be a great laugh. We've got some great tech chat coming up, some more bants, and obviously talk about what they've got going on in their career at the moment as well. Anyway, I've had you for long enough. I'm going to go and enjoy some Christmas music. And actually, we've got an app that we've got our hands on, which I'll talk to you about in the next episode as well. I've been Marcus Bronzy. Funk Butcher will be with you real soon.
And I've been Producer Bill.
Plenty of ways to kill some time out there. Thank you for killing some time with us.